I'm back, and it didn't take me 6 months to make a second video, making progress. So I've already looked at the second gen Dodge Ram, and today I'm going to be looking at the third gen. This generation ran from 2002 to 2008, and Dodge had 8 years to improve on the design, so let's take a look and see if anything improved. Well, the most notable change is to the exterior of the truck. It's an evolution on the big rig looks. Now, to be honest, when I first saw it, I hated it. But the looks have grown on me over time. It's not as timeless as the previous gen, but it's acceptable. In 2006, they revised the exterior, and it got a little bit uglier. Kind of like you put the old design in a dryer and it shrank. Now we're going to move on to the engines. In '02, you had the brand new 3.7 liter V6 and the new 4.7 liter V8. Initially, the big engine was still the 5.9 liter, but the following year it was replaced by the 5.7 liter Hemi. That's something that annoys me. They had years to get this shit right, and they still managed to fuck up the launch. It's the same damn thing that happened to the Mustang in '94. The 3.7 liter is a single overhead cam V6 making 210 horsepower and 235 pound-feet of torque. I am not a fan of overhead cam engines in trucks due to peak torque being at a higher RPM. And it's sad that they can only squeak out 210 horsepower. I mean, come on. Chevy's had that much power since '96 and Ford since '97. Truth told, I have next to no experience with this motor. I haven't heard anything bad, but I can't comment on its reliability. You shouldn't have a V6 truck anyway. It's worse than a V6 pony car. Now the 4.7 liter on the other hand, oh man, this engine is going to go down in history as one of the worst. Now a lot of people swear by this engine and I can already hear the hate messages, but this thing is a steamy pile of horse shit. It's also an overhead cam motor, and it made 235 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque, which is barely an improvement over the 5.2 liter that it replaced. A small overhead cam engine that isn't much better than the pushrod engine that it replaced. This sounds familiar. Ford again. Let's talk about its problems. I am legion, for we are many. We can start with the sludge. Now, this was a common issue on Dodge products from this era. The PCV systems are way too small and people don't change their oil frequently enough, so they sludge up. Once that happens, the pickup tube clogs and you lose oil pressure. If you didn't maintain it religiously, engine failure at the 60,000 mile mark was very common. Head cracking is up next. The coolant system was completely substandard for the truck. They run at about 235 degrees and they get higher as you load the truck. In some cases, the block was too thin in places, which led to overheating and cracked heads. If this is the case, you need a whole new motor. Then the rocker arms will just randomly fall off. Exactly what you want in a work vehicle. You ever see a track runner get a cramp? That's what I imagine these rocker arms are doing. It's going great, he's at the halfway mark, he's got this, ah shit, he's down. I've seen many cases of rod knock as well. Now, most of these failures come down to a substandard oil pump, poor oiling, and poor maintenance, but it's still a major problem. The cherry on the shit sundae, it only gets about 13 miles to the gallon. Now we move on to the Hemi. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Let's go old school on the name and design. That'll sell some fucking trucks. Well, they weren't wrong. It's a 5.7 liter pushrod engine, makes 345 horsepower and 375 pound-feet of torque. This is a man's motor. Chrysler pretty much knocked it out of the park with this engine. Aside from the harmless Hemi tick and the occasional misfire problems, it's a very reliable motor provided you don't horribly abuse it. One annoyance is that it has 16 spark plugs. 16. They might have gone a touch overboard. The MPGs aren't bad. I average about 16, which is a damn sight better than the 5.9 liter. Moving on to the transmissions. You have the 545 RFE and the 445 RE. Oh man. We all know how shitty the last Dodge transmissions were. But hang on a second. these transmissions are decent? Is it possible? The 545 RFE is a 5-speed auto. Well, technically it's a 6-speed, but we'll get to that in a second. They have very few problems. I've seen them lose gears, but it's not terribly common. When you can buy a transmission for $200 used, you know they ain't in high demand. They shift quick and smooth. When in tow haul mode, it uses a different second gear, hence the 6-speed comment. It also shifts faster, harsher, and it holds the gears longer for outstanding tow performance. It still uses ATF plus 4, but still, it's a vast improvement over the previous generation. The 445 RE is just its 5-speed brother with one less gear. That's right, folks. Dodge made a transmission that's not shit. But of course, it can't all be bacon and beer. The suspension still blows. Ball joints are common, as are warped rotors and bad wheel bearings. Towing over 5,000 pounds with a 1500 truck is downright scary, but load leveling airbags help out tremendously. Even Dodge knew this, later adding it as an option. Onwards to the interior. It's better than last year. The dash is very cheaply made, mostly hard plastic, but at least the damn thing is there. The rear seats fold up and a floor extension folds out, which is very handy for loads. The cloth seats are kinda shitty, the foam breaks down and it becomes the Ass Bruiser 5000. The factory radios are excellent. Now I will say that if you're trying to change the Infinity sound system, it's a pain in the fucking ass. You basically have to rewire the whole damn truck. The climate control. It can break and leave one side with heat, and the heater core can die, which necessitates removing the dash. In 2006, they redesigned the interior a little bit, but nothing really changed. Overall, this is the best Dodge product in years. Just avoid that 4.7 like the fucking plague and you're A-OK. The one complaint I do have is that it's extremely difficult to find high option trucks. I had one years ago, but when I was truck shopping I couldn't replicate that luck. If you're looking for a truck in the $5,000 to $10,000 range, take a long look at these trucks. They're very good for the money.